how to take a page or a leaf, the secret formula, out of someone's book. This idiom, been around since the 1800s, actually means literally to tear a page out of something. Have you ever been in a library or at a salon or at a waiting room, say you're getting your car repaired in the service department or the doctor's office, and been paging through a magazine and see that somebody has ripped out the page with the recipe or the information on it, the secret formula that you need or wanted or were reading the article about. I know that I've had that happen to me, where I've been somewhere, I've been reading along, and all of a sudden the last page or the page is missing, or the order form or whatever, something's missing because somebody has literally torn a page out of the book or the magazines. This idiom, this expression, literally means to tear something out or to copy someone else's work, plagiarize, or to steal their idea. Now, figuratively, the term's a lot less nefarious. It means to model, in my mind, it means to model or to learn from or to copy or to have somebody be an example for you. Let's face it, I've been babysitting my 4-month-old granddaughter this week and next week, and babies, we're all born not knowing how to do anything. We don't understand or know anything. We first model our parents. We copy our parents, and that's how we learn to do everything. Then we copy our friends and our teachers and our professors and our coaches and other people that have influenced us, people that we're in organizations with, our bosses. We learn everything we learn from somebody or something else, from books, from other sources. Now, most people learn almost everything they know from the internet or from news media. Now, I'm not even going to get started with that, but I don't think that we can argue that taking a leaf out of other ones or a page out of someone else's book is a bad thing, because it's how we grow and learn and become productive members of society. It's why we go to school, right? So we can learn what other people have learned or what they want to teach us, so we can be functional members of society. So how do you take a leaf out of someone's book? How do you do it without stealing or copying or plagiarizing? Because I agree, those are all bad things. Nothing worse than going online and finding that somebody has entirely duplicated your product or service or website or marketing message or system. They plagiarized the whole thing, word for word. They haven't even bothered to take and make it their own and put their own spin on it. They've just copied you. Copying and plagiarizing and stealing other people's hard work is not okay. But we also need to remember that everything we are is a culmination of everything that we've experienced. So when I'm talking on this video, I wasn't born thinking any of the thoughts or sharing any of the things that I share. I go online, I do some research, I find out where the idiom came from, what the origin of it was. And this one, for example, I'm going to grab my magnifying glass so I can see where it's from. It was used in 1809 by Melkin in a translation of Gil Blas. I have no idea what that is, but I know that taking a leaf or a page out of someone else's book has been around for a lot longer than back in the 1800s. We've always had on-the-job training. On-the-job training is an example of learning from somebody else or taking a page from their book. Modeling is one of my favorite ways of shortcutting the process of learning how to do anything. It's observational learning. So what's the formula, the secret formula I pull out of my book for observational learning? Well, it's attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation. When you add what's your motivation for learning or understanding the thing that you're learning, then you pay attention and you find sources, and usually multiple sources of that information. I remember when I wanted to learn how to outsource one of my manufacturing businesses, I wanted to outsource a lot of the tasks with respect to that, if not the entire thing. I had to pay attention to resources all about outsourcing. So what did I do? I went online and I ordered, and actually back then I went to the bookstore and I picked out about 15 books about outsourcing, and I read all of them on outsourcing. Then I found some experts and some people that were good at outsourcing, and I asked them a lot of questions, and then I determined how I was going to do it for my business. So attention, motivation. My motivation was I wanted to do less work in that particular business, and I knew it was a great business. I wanted to keep it going, but I didn't want to be the one that did everything. So my motivation was to grow and supersize that business, but to outsource it and have other people help as well. So I paid attention to the sources I needed. Then I retained the information I needed from that, and I let go of the rest. Because whenever we read a book or we find a resource, there's things that we need and we can apply and we can learn based on our unique situation. And there are things that we just let go of because they're not pertinent. Now, then we reproduce that information and we apply it to our situation. So that's the formula for modeling. That's the formula for not only setting an example, but being an example for other people. So I would love to know your experience with this idiom or this expression. Have you ever said, hey, I'm going to take a leaf out of your book? I know my daughter, you know, when I think when they say you're the chip off the old block, that's what our kids learn from us. Well, all of our children, that's our job, is to be role models for them. They will always do what we do, not what we say. I know we talked about that idiom before. Because people do what you do, they follow your actions, they model your actual behavior, the things that they observe, more than just the things that you say. I think there was a study actually that said people believe 98% of what they actually see, which is tough for some of us that have visual challenges these days, but the other 5 senses, although they're super important, account for all the rest of our observation and our belief system. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit I picked up the other day. So love to know your experience with this modeling, plagiarism. We've all had some of our work copied, but then I remember, well, everything that I've learned is just a culmination of every person I've ever interacted with, every experience I've ever had, everything I've ever read, saw, heard, anything. We are all that, and it's when we uniquely package that and show up as ourselves, all the different things that we've learned, and we make things our own, that it's not really plagiarism or copying. It's taking bits and pieces of everything and making it our own. And that's what we need to do to supersize and grow our businesses. So share in the comments below your experience with this particular expression, or if there's an expression or an idiom you would like to know the meaning of, hit me up in the comments below or direct message me, and I will cover that as soon as possible. Otherwise, go out, have an awesome day. See what you can model and learn and observe from other people without straight up copying them. Unless, of course, you've hired them to be your coach and they are coaching you to straight up do what they say and copy them and follow their system. Then you should copy them because you're paying them to copy them. All right, that's it. Have an amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business and maybe even in your life today? Have a great day.